What's up, everyone? I am Ronald Acuna Jr., and with me is Spencer Strider. We are both currently injured and not helping out our terrible losing Atlanta Braves. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. It's Lit Book Reviews. We're here to do another one. This is the podcast where we discuss all things books. And, I say that at the beginning of most of our podcasts, all things books. But there is one realm of books that we have never discussed, that we've never been into in our entire lives until as of late, and that is books of the comic variety. Comic books, you may call them. Let's just get into it. So basically, here's how we got here. I was on Reddit or something in like October, November of 2024 last year, and I saw the cover of the first Absolute Superman issue 1. Now, I've never been into comics ever, not as a child. I like comic book movies. I was obviously into the MCU when all that started back in 08 or whatever. Liked the Tobey Maguire movies. He'll always be my Spider-Man, all that good stuff. But never was I into comic books. And before I continue, you would say the same, correct, Andrew?
Oh, I mean, yeah, even probably less so than you. Like I've
You're
watched
even
all the
less
Marvels.
into superhero stuff, like
Yeah.
even the movies.
The
Yeah.
Batman, the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy is like, especially Dark Knight. I mean, you and I, we
Some of the
like
best
consider
ever, yeah.
ourselves Dark Knight. So I mean, that I would love, but I've never been a Superman guy. I've never actually seen any of the Superman movies. I've seen Spider-Man, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and all the Marvel, but like especially DC. I don't really know anything about DC other than, or like I say, prior to what we've dabbled in now. Whereas I feel like you were pretty, like I feel like you know a lot about, like you've seen all the Snyder cuts and stuff like that. Where I have not. Other than Batman,
let's just go ahead and say,
Nolan,
since you brought that up, we're not Snyderverse, okay? Please don't attack us. That's not what this is at all. Andrew doesn't even know anything about that. He doesn't know the landmine he just stepped on. I do like Man of Steel, though. Like, even for all its flaws, it's an enjoyable movie. But either way, all that to say, like, we've watched movies. I've been into it more in the past than even Andrew has, but neither of us have ever been into comic books. But I saw the first issue of Absolute Superman just on a post, just a picture of it. And I was like, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of times it talks about comic books, like to reference stuff that's happening in movies or whatever. And I had never seen this particular Superman. And I was like, what is that? Like, who is this Superman, this version of him? Because he had like a different looking suit, like stuff going on at his wrists. His hair was long, like different stuff. And I looked it up and realized, oh, this is like a brand new DC thing. I researched a little bit. It's a new like universe or whatever. And I thought, well, dude, I'll snag a couple. Because then when I looked into it, I realized, oh, there's an Absolute Batman and an Absolute Wonder Woman. And both of them at this time had like 1 or 2, maybe 3 issues out. Or I think the third one was coming up. So I ordered them, the first 2 or 3 of the Trinity of Absolute DC. And it's pretty much been a black hole since then. So for the last few months, since I guess almost half a year now, over half a year since I first started buying them, I've kept up with Absolute DC, and here and there I've peppered Andrew with, dude, these Absolute DC comics are kind of sick. Every now and then I'd send him a picture of like a cool cover, because I'm an idiot, never been into comics before, but of course you best believe I'm buying a variant edition of every one of these comics. So I'd be sending him the different stuff I was getting each month. But it was just really Absolute DC. I did start to buy a few trade paperbacks. I read All-Star Superman. Like, I went back and read stuff because I realized that the Absolute world is like an else world, and it's very different takes on the characters. So I did want to read other stuff to know, like, well, what is the typical thing? Yeah. So I have read up on a good bit of stuff, Superman Birthright, Batman Year One. Like, I went back and got a lot of different things to kind of catch up, and it's been fun. And then out of nowhere, just out of pure thin air, I am talking to Andrew about it one day.
With Tom, though. We do have to shout Tom out. You and Tom had like a conversation after one of our podcasts. And I mean, dude, I just want to be a part. I just want to be a part of it.
Yeah, so that's
a
good point.
Had a little bit to do with it, but then you definitely pushed me over the edge. Like,
so I mean, just to clarify, I've been talking about it forever. It took one conversation with Tom Orange and Andrew bought in. But yeah, essentially, after an episode we did with Tom, we talked for like an hour or so, maybe after, and a good chunk of that conversation was just me and Tom talking about comics, and Andrew just like looking at the screen like, wow, these guys are nerds. But it planted another seed, and I guess so. I guess it's not fair to say out of pure thin air, but it felt to me out of pure thin air, out of the blue, Andrew just dives headfirst into a black hole quicker than I've ever seen a man do,
Well, it's
and
the
just starts
Comic Geeks
buying
app.
comics.
Once you told me about the Comic Geeks app, that you could
Yeah,
basically, it's Goodreads for comics. You can log them, but it's a
but it's
way
way
better
better than
app.
Goodreads. Yeah,
And I was like, well, I'll check this app out. And dude, once I did that, and because I don't know anything about comics, kind of like you were saying, I saw all the different variants. You had sent me a lot of the Absolute Batman stuff, and I thought it looked sick. I was like, okay, this looks
yeah.
awesome.
I
But
mean, I
then when
got
you
it.
get on
Yeah,
there and you can see all the variants, you're like swiping through.
yeah.
Bro, as soon as I don't even know what it was, but yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's been 10 days. I think it was at the beginning of this past week. Like right now, it is August 6th. I mean, maybe July 28th. Maybe a little bit before then. I can't necessarily remember, but, and it's
So
been,
that being said, just to pull some stats here and that kind of good stuff. It's been 10 days. I've been reading comics, and I didn't really start buying single issues or the trade paperbacks until I'd been reading Absolute DC for a couple months, really. But still, that's a solid 6 months of me starting to get into different things, buying trade paperbacks and reading them. So I'm going to say in that amount of time, 8, 9 months, I've read 63 comics, including trade paperbacks. So in fairness,
yeah, that's
I've read a good bit more than 63, but including a lot of those. In 10 days, Andrew, what are you at on how many comics you've read?
I've read 48 comics.
48 comics. That's 5 comics a day. And I mean, and this, I'm telling you guys, this is out of pure thin air. Okay. This
Dude, and
man just starts sending me receipts of his comic orders. And I was like, oh my Lord, dude, he has bought in. And the thing
dude,
about both of us,
I own 31. And
31.
a lot of those have not come in yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So it didn't take a lot. It's madness, as you know. It just takes a small push.
Especially
One of
for
the
me.
great lines from the Joker. So, Andrew and I are similar in the way that if we get into something, there is no half-assery. And especially something like comics that I didn't realize would be a thing for me is the collector aspect of it, the collectability of comics is
Oh
like
my god.
part of what makes it such a black hole of destruction to your bank
Yeah.
account. But then I say that, but then the thing that justifies that for you is like, dude, they're like $4, $5, $6 a pop. Like I'm barely spending any money. And then you look back and you've spent $300, $400 in a small amount of time on all kinds of stuff. So yeah, all that to get us to where we are now, that 8-minute explanation, we are now both essentially caught up and reading all the Absolute stuff together. I guess you haven't got into you've read the Trinity of Absolute. You haven't read
Yeah.
Flash, Martian, and Green Lantern yet.
I haven't
But
read any of those yet.
yeah, but you're planning to get into them. So we're on the Absolute DC run.
Mhm.
There's some other stuff we're getting into. So to talk about the other things. So again, when I was telling Andrew about this stuff, almost everything I was telling him about was DC. There's a couple Marvel things that I've read and that I'm about to start getting into with some new issues that we'll talk about. But most everything I told him about was DC. Andrew, what's the first comic you bought?
Dude, so
The
the
first
first
one that,
comic
that went into your cart.
was Thundercats. Out of nowhere. Out
Thundercats.
of
Out
nowhere,
of nowhere,
Thundercats
dude. So
got
please, dude, explain the Thundercats selection.
So I mean, Thundercats. So I mean, I think the reason why the whole superhero thing, I don't mind it, but it's not my go-to, is because like I didn't grow up like as a kid like watching superhero cartoons. Like I didn't watch like Superman or Spider-Man or whatever, because I feel like I'm sure there's cartoons for that. But I do remember like the other one that I've dove into like pretty hard, like at least over the last 4 or 5 days, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Both of those, like I vividly remember as a kid, Thundercats and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, watching those like as cartoons as a kid. So like it's more of a nostalgia thing. And now that like I've read, at least Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, absolute wise. Like those are way better storylines than Thundercats. Like, because I think I've read the first 6. I'm still I'm trying to wait. This is a whole nother tangent that we'll get into in a second. But I've been reading them online, and then now it's like I'm at a point where while I've purchased these, I would like to physically read them. So, but Thundercats is pretty good, but it's more just the nostalgia of it all that has been a thing for me. So, like when I saw that, I was
But
like,
you're
"Oh
really
wait,
enjoying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? Like you'd say
oh
that's
dude,
better
it's
than
so good.
Thundercats?
Oh yeah, for sure, it's so good." And so I'm reading the
Yeah.
new run of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think they're on like issue 10 or 11. And so, but then it's gotten me to go back and there was a run from I think 2014 or 2011 to maybe like 2020 or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 150 issues. I'm chipping away at that on my iPad too. So I mean, yeah, I think for sure Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will be something that stays. I'm curious to see. I think Thundercats is on issue 17. Oh, I bought it today. Yeah, issue 17 came out today. So will
But you've not read up that far yet,
I've
right?
only read through 6 because I'm trying to wait, which is a whole nother thing I've ranted to you about. Like I've bought all these comics and I didn't realize how the comic world works. It's not like Amazon where it just gets dropped off. You can buy variants like way before they come out. And I just wasn't looking at dates and stuff. So when I first bought a bunch of comics, in one
You had
order,
pre-orders in your
I had
order.
pre-orders
Yeah.
for like October, not
Yeah.
knowing what I was doing. And
Yeah.
so now I'm waiting because now that I've already bought all these, I want to, or because I
Yeah.
could
You
just
want to
read them all.
experience it.
Like I
Yeah.
read all of Absolute Superman today, which I got the
Yeah.
10th issue today. So that I have one Absolute Superman and I read that one physically. But it's like I
Yeah.
could just do that with Thundercats and be caught up, but then it's like, what was the point of all the money that I spent?
Yeah.
So
All that money.
that's where
Yeah.
I'm trying to dive into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to keep me swayed. But I will say I don't know if I have huge hope that it's going to be like insane.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of
Yeah.
different worlds with Thundercats that are kind of starting right now with Chitara and like just this like Lost run that they have. So I might start the Lost one today because some of those came in for me. I think the 4th one came out today, and I have 1 through 4. So I don't even, it's like another arc of Thundercats. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
randomly, I hadn't thought of Thundercats, bro, in a decade. And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
Thundercats? I used to think
I mean,
that
I
was
remember
so
when,
sick as a kid.
the first thought I had was, is this because you sent me like 3 screenshots of a few different orders you had made, and none of them had anything that I had ever discussed with you before. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, I guess we'll both be in this together, but like, is he going to buy anything that I've read that I've recommended to him? And you finally did, and you've read obviously a lot of it at this point.
Once you got me
But
into Absolute Batman, now I am kind of like sold on that world. Dude, I don't know what it is about superheroes, man. It's harder for me to get into it. Now, I get it now, like now that I've read it, but I don't know why. I
yeah,
guess I don't know what
there's
it
just,
is.
and this is probably all comics, but I'm sure I know there's more realistic, grounded comics out there. So not all comics, but when you're reading DC comics, dude, you have to suspend every single last bit of your
Yeah.
disbelief to buy into it and to enjoy it. Otherwise, you're going to be wondering, why is Batman, who's supposed to be a dude without powers, able to get thrown through
Yeah.
6 feet of concrete and he just gets back up, or
Well, I think
whatever it
because
may
I've
be?
seen live action movies for some of these, and like I haven't seen Man of Steel, but like I've seen clips of it, Whereas like Thundercats, maybe there is a live action, whatever. It was a cartoon, and then for Teenage Mutant Ninja
Right.
Turtles, it was a cartoon for me. So like I still envision it as a cartoon. So before I had read Absolute Batman, it's like when I think of Batman, dude, I'm still thinking of Christian Bale. Like that's what I'm
Right.
thinking of. So I'm not thinking of
Yeah.
a guy who's
Which I think,
6'9",
yeah.
400.
Well, yeah,
Like
which the absolute Batman is a little different. Not all
which I
Batmen are
like that though.
6'9",
Now
420.
that it's so far that way, it like kind of
Yeah,
helps it for me in a way.
it's
That it's
absolute, dude.
so insane. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
this is totally
yeah,
different. I got to forget everything that I thought about it, and that's
yeah,
helped. So
yeah. So I will say really quickly before we continue to discuss, because we're going to talk a bit about absolute DC, and then we'll talk about some other issues we've either already read or that we're planning to read. We definitely want recommendations. I'll just go ahead and say we'll talk about more at the end, I guess. But if you read comics, if you hear anything or think of anything that we need to know, that we need to get into, or that we need to stay away from, you just let us know because we're complete novices in this world. And I know for some of you, us, especially Andrew, who's even knows even less about superheroes. I know for some of you, you're not going to like the fact that we're starting with Absolute DC, but it's too late. We already did. Like I said, I'm going back and reading a lot of stuff. Andrew's going to eventually as well. He's going to borrow
I'm
some
definitely
trade
gonna need those
paperbacks.
kind of recommendations too, because other than
Yeah.
Batman, bro, I don't
So
know what's supposed to be real about Superman and what's supposed to be real about Wonder Woman and what's not.
yeah,
I don't know
which
any.
I think it's fine. I actually posted on Reddit months ago when I first bought the Absolute comics and like asked, I was like, "Hey, is this a good place to start, or am I kind of screwing myself?" Because my concern was like continuity. I was like, "Am I going to be lost, or is this actually new?" And most of the people on there were pretty supportive of it. They said, "If you've never read comics, this is actually great. Like for you to get into a current run, as long as you're kind of familiar with Superman and like his ethos and that type of thing," which I feel like I am. So anyway, all that to say, if you haven't read Absolute DC and you do not want spoilers, specifically for the Trinity for Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, we are going to be spoiling things from here on out because we're not going to be able to stop ourselves while we're talking about this. Because I do just want, so yeah, spoilers for that. Leave if you don't want to hear it. So what? We haven't really talked in detail, and you are ahead of me on Superman because you went and bought that physically. I'm still waiting for mine to come in the mail, Superman 10. So leave that out of your mind. But everything else, absolute Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. I mean, how are you enjoying it?
I'm really liking it a lot. The dude at the comic book shop, who clearly, I mean, if you work at a comic book shop, I mean, surely I mean, he knew so much, and he was super cool
Yeah,
too. So it's not like his mentality when he came over to me was like, "Oh, what are you doing in here?" Kind of. It wasn't like that at
novice.
all. But he brought up a point that I didn't think about because I was just telling him like I'm getting into comics, like this is just one of my buddies. He knows a lot more than I do, and this is where I started. And because I was looking at Absolute Superman 10, and I was telling him how I really liked Absolute Batman because, like, off the rip, I think that's my favorite of the three. But then he brought up a good
Yeah,
point that I didn't really think about. He was saying how in the Batman run, it was cool, but he was saying like in the grand scheme of things, like it's just like, oh, here's this villain, he defeats this villain, and now here's this villain, and he defeats this villain. Like it doesn't feel like it's building, which I feel like I could push back a little bit with that. But where he was
yeah,
saying with Wonder Woman and Superman, it feels like there's more things happening, I guess, and it's not just like, okay, we got this guy done, now let's move to the next one. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I
Um,
think he must not be caught up on Batman also because Batman. I mean,
well, the end, but the first couple, like
like the first
what were they
arc, the
called?
first six
The
issues.
first arc, it's like, where's that now? The animals or whatever.
Yeah, the Black
Which I
Mask
think
and
it
all
is
that.
still in there, but like as far as circling around somewhere. Whereas I do see the point of like, I guess Wonder Woman, you could kind of say the same thing. Like her first big boss that she fights, it's like, okay, who cares now
And she
about
turns
that? We've
into
moved on.
like a giant.
Medusa. That was insane.
Yeah, she turns into a
Um,
kaiju out of nowhere.
Whereas I can see Superman though, I can see where Superman's has been a like probably the best plot wise, maybe. Like as far
Yeah.
as like every issue has meant something to this point. Like and
Yeah. I would push back on what he said though, just in the sense that not that he's necessarily wrong, but it was a whole arc. Like it did take 6 issues for him to win.
yeah,
But it's also like, dude, it's the first arc of this
yeah.
entirely new run. Like I wasn't really expecting to dive into the deepest, like some 24 arc mini series. Like I was expecting kind of an intro to the character. So, but I can see what he's saying in comparison, maybe to Superman and Wonder Woman to a degree. I would say, dude, it's hard for me to pick. It is either Superman or Batman as far as which one's my favorite so far. I think mine might be Superman just because I'm partial to that character slightly. I think over
You're gonna
Batman.
like issue 10, I think.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
pretty
sure I
good.
will. But Superman's just a great character, and I do like that in this version we are getting something akin to like I think it's the Golden Age Superman, maybe where he's not at full power at all yet. Like he can't fly yet. He can only jump far. He gets depowered in certain situations. He has to recharge essentially. I also like that he basically has an AI suit. Um,
Yeah.
and his cape is he doesn't actually have a cape, but he does, but it's the dust of Krypton and it can actually do things and protect people.
I think that's really
Um,
cool. I like the sand thing, dust thing.
yeah. And I really liked the backstory of Superman. The changes they made I thought were really well done. Usually his parents are like high up in society, really important, really well off, well to do, have a lot of power. But in Absolute Superman, they're the lowest rung of the class system. They're part of the labor department, force, whatever you want to call it. So the changes they made, that already kind of makes Superman a more, I don't know if relatable is the right word, but maybe a more
Yeah.
grounded character. We might see a different kind of ethos in this Superman to a degree. He's still the guy that doesn't want to kill anybody, wants to protect the innocent and those that can't protect themselves. So they still have all the important core stuff. But yeah, I think Superman is slightly my favorite with Batman right behind. And I really like Wonder Woman a lot. But some of
I
the
like the
stuff
second
in
arc a
Wonder
lot.
Woman's, yeah, the second arc's been a lot better. But some of the stuff in Wonder Woman is like, dude, the Medusa thing, her turning into a kaiju was a little too much for me that
That was
early in her
insane.
run. I was like, is she just gonna be able to do this anytime? Because who's beating that? But also, it
Yeah.
just, I don't know. I know it's a comic book and it's supposed to be crazy, but I don't know. It felt a little too silly, a little too quickly in the run. If that happened maybe way down the line against, some big bad that we're led up to, it might have been a little better. But I don't know. It was just really quick. That was like the third issue, I think, or maybe it was later in the arc. I'm not sure, but it was a lot. Her turning into
That was
Kaiju
a
Medusa was a lot.
that was a massive.
But I
Yeah.
still like it. Like that's a 5-star series for me. All three of those are 5 stars. The other three, for that matter, are as well. They're not quite as good as the Trinity, and I'm speaking Flash, Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter. But they're all really good. I like them.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into those. For some reason, Martian Manhunter, I don't know anything about him, so I'm like, for some reason, really interested in that.
Dude, that one's crazy, man. I mean, if there's a,
The covers
again,
look
I'm a novice
wild,
to comic
like
books.
just with the
Yeah, the covers
abstract
are
kind of
crazy.
art look.
I'm a novice to cover to comic books, but if there are covers that are perfect for uh tripping on shrooms, it's the Martian Manhunter covers and the interior of those books. I mean, they're crazy. The art's insane. It's very good. I would say of those ones,
You said Flash, right?
either Flash or Martian is my favorite of the other three. Green Lantern is good, but it feels like nothing's happened yet in Green Lantern. And to be fair, I've only read the first three. I have the fourth one, but haven't read it yet. I'm a month behind. I'd be curious to know people that read comics how they do it. I'm sure that the thing you're supposed to do is support your local comic book store. There's not one anywhere near me, really. Like I have to drive 30 minutes just to get to one, and with my work schedule, that's just not doable very often. So I have purchased comics at a comic book store, but I'm usually ordering them. And what I do is I order everything for the upcoming month all in one order. And then I just get it at the end of the month whenever the last one releases. So I'm really a month behind usually in my current runs that I'm reading. I don't know if a lot of people do it that way. I know a lot of people just read trade paperbacks when they finally come out. So they're like 6 months to a year behind. But that's kind of how I do it. So yeah, Green Lantern is fine, but Green Lantern does have some of the coolest concepts though. I do think it could be really, really good. It's just not a whole lot has really happened yet. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably all we need to say about Absolute DC. Unless is there anything else you would say about those specific ones?
So far, I've liked it though. As like a true novice, like I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. So moving on from Absolute DC, let us know if you're reading that. Let us know what you think, whether you're into comics a lot or a novice like us. But I would definitely recommend it. Like if you've never read comics, dude, just get you a trade paperback of Absolute Superman and see what you think. Why
Well, the
not?
Absolute
They're
Batman one
like
just came
16
out
bucks.
today.
Yeah, Absolute Batman trade paperback just came out here as of Wednesday, August 6th of recording this. And then Absolute Superman comes. They all come out this month. So I know Wonder Woman and Superman are coming out soon. So yeah, I would definitely recommend them. I think it's just wild, man. We've just randomly gotten into comics, and it's been fun. Like it's something new. I haven't had a brand new hobby in a while. I feel like
Yeah.
so constantly reading
I feel like a
nonfiction,
lot of people would
history.
like it. Like I feel like it's not talked
Yeah, I
about
think
enough,
so
at least
too.
in my vein. So I do feel like there does need to be a pitch made for like try out a
Well, I
comic,
think it's been a
especially on the
dying industry
iPad.
for a long
The
time.
iPad industry
Yeah.
is insane. It's got to be up there. Like I like having the physical copies because we're both that same vein of like the collecting aspect is what's going to get me in
It's a
this,
problem.
but
Yeah,
viewing it on the iPad is awesome. Like it's
it's
such an
beautiful.
awesome
Yeah,
like viewing experience.
yeah, and I would say that's like obviously the stories are what really keep you around. If the story's not good, I'm not going to read it, but the art is what really draws me in, dude. It's just so fun to look at some of these panels. They're just done so well, man, and I don't know, man. It's fun. Like I was about to say, I mean, constantly reading nonfiction books, like 900-page books about, archaeological evidence of ancient civilizations. I'm into that and I love it. But it's nice to have this as a palate cleanser because now my routine is reading a little chunk of whatever book I'm reading and then kind of winding down with a few comics. Like, dude, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So it's been fun, man. So to get into some of the other stuff that we've read or planned to read, I'm not gonna lie, I've really killed some trade paperback stuff. So I'm trying to just think. Like I read all the Earth One stuff, and I know I'm gonna get into territory that you haven't read, Andrew. So just bear with me. I did read Earth One, even though I knew that the reviews weren't great for the Earth One series, but I did read all three of the Trinity. Wonder Woman's was god awful, bro. The only bad comic I've read so far since the end of 2024, since I started reading comics, is Wonder Woman Earth One. Dude, it was bad. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, and not even just the themes, which were just stupid, but the execution of it. Like it's just, I'll just go ahead and say it. It's this ultra, like it almost feels like satire. This ultra feminist take on Wonder Woman in the world, like to the point where the whole thing that the Amazonians do is they try to make men submit to them under loving authority. Like that's the term they use. And like, dude, I'm not against like the idea of that in a comic book. It's like, all right, let's see what happens, dude. Who runs the world? Girls, fine. But the execution of it, dude, was so bad. Like it was just,
Yeah.
dude, it was terrible. And it's already not a great premise, to be honest. Like it doesn't work with Wonder Woman in my opinion. But dude, it was so bad. But Superman and Batman Earth One I thought were fine. I thought Batman was, I don't know, they were just weird, dude. There was this weird thing where it's kind of an Elseworld idea, so it's similar to Absolute in the sense that they were kind of subverting some of your typical ideas. But what was weird, dude, is so Two-Face, Harvey Dent is one of Batman's main villains. And then Superman has Lex Luthor, the bald guy.
Yeah.
That's one of his main bad guys. In both Earth One, Batman and Superman, they take those two villains for those characters and they give them a sibling. And then those characters, Lex Luthor and Harvey Dent, die in the series. And then the sibling, which is a sister in both cases, takes on the personality of their dead brother in both runs. Dude, it was the weirdest thing. I read the Batman one first and I thought that was weird. Like Harvey Dent's sister just takes on his personality out of nowhere. Like it was just really weird. And I was like, okay. And then I'm reading Superman and then it happens to Lex Luthor's sister. And I was like, what is going on, dude? Why are these sisters taking dude, it was very strange. I don't know if anyone else has read those that's watching this, but let me know if you thought that was weird. Um I won't go through every single little thing that I've read, but I do want to say I think the thing I've enjoyed the most is Superman Birthright. Very good. That's one of the ones I'm gonna have you read, Andrew, just to give you like something different. That's more like traditional, I guess. All Star Superman, obviously amazing. Now I will say, in fairness, I haven't read every panel of All Star Superman, but I've watched a couple of YouTube videos that have gone through the entire story, like Variant Comics and Comics Explained have both had videos on them. And so I know everything that happens through those videos, and I've read most of it myself, but I haven't read every panel. I skipped through a few that I knew were kind of just talky stuff. But let's see. I'm trying to see what else I've read that I've like really liked. I talked about Batman Earth Year One. That's really good. That's like a classic one. I really liked it. I read some Punisher stuff that I thought was good, the 2022-23 stuff. I've only read the first of two trade paperbacks of that, and I thought it was good. But yeah, have you read anything else that we haven't talked about?
I've read I've read a couple different runs for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've read some of the Last Ronin, the first one, and
Oh,
then
that's right.
going back to just the 2011 through like 2020 run that they did, just to get some more context for the new run that's out. I did get the Mutant Nation today, which is another run. I'm not sure what is going on with that one. That one's like a something different. I do have, which I'll probably start tonight. Silverhawks is like a new run going on. And I think that's it.
Yeah,
Oh
you have to
wait,
let me
no,
know how
Death of
Silverhawks
the
is.
Silver Surfer. I've read the first two of
That's
those, and
right.
that's been really good. Um, I like the Silver Surfer character a lot, so that's been
Yeah, I have
kind of
those
fun.
first two, but haven't started it yet.
And then Fantastic
So
Four, I
yes,
have the first, but I haven't read it yet
so yeah,
of the
so
new run.
that brings me into kind of the newer runs that we're gonna keep up with. So again, if
Which
you are
that's what
into
I'm
comics and
excited
know
for.
stuff,
Like that's what
yeah,
I
me
like.
too.
That's
Like,
what got me
yeah,
into it. If it's something that's a super backlog, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is different because I grew up watching that. But only reason I'm also into it is because there's a new run, so I don't feel like I'm super behind. Like I can just catch up. Like
yeah,
I read all of Absolute Superman today, so it's like
yeah.
there's time for it. I'm not just having to sacrifice days and days and days just to get to the point where now I'm finally caught up. So I do like that we're starting all these new runs.
Yeah, so let us know if you read comics. What are some of the current runs that started this year that you're enjoying? The other one I'm reading that I didn't mention is Battle Beast from Invincible
Battle
Universe. I
Beast.
am reading that one. I read most of Invincible when Invincible the first season came out. Right when I finished the first season, I watched. I mean, it had to have been 24 hours worth of YouTube videos. I went through everything, dude. I went through videos that just went through all the comics in order, and then I watched videos that just broke down every character. So, dude, I know everything Invincible, but I can't say I've read all three of the compendiums I have, but I know everything that happens. But I am reading Battle Beast. That one's fun. I mean, it's just a gory mess. But to go over, so most of these are for sure runs we're going to follow, but some of them, including the first one, are potential runs that we might follow. We'll just have to see how they are. So obviously, everything Absolute DC, Absolute Evil starts in October, I believe. So that'll be fun as well. Bringing together the bad guys of the universe, dude. One that I think Andrew, you actually found this. I had not seen this, but starting in November, Marvel Comics presents 1776.
Oh yeah.
Revolutionary warriors assemble. Calamity strikes when a mysterious force dares to tamper with the sacred threads of history. Captain America and his formidable squad of Marvel heroes leap into action. Their mission? To safeguard the founding of the United States of America. The fate
That's
of the nation hangs in the balance at the dawn of the revolution, as these valiant heroes must navigate the treacherous waters of the past to ensure a future that remains untarnished. And then the cover shows three of the founding fathers, which appear to me to be George Washington, Ben Franklin, and then I don't know who that other guy's supposed to be. But then you have the Incredible Hulk, Spider Man, Iron Man, Cyclops, Captain America, Sue Storm, and Doctor Strange on the cover. And I'm just sitting here thinking, bro, this is either about to be really cool or one of the worst things ever
oh
made.
yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know how the Incredible Hulk fits into the Revolution without completely breaking the timeline. Like, come on, dude. So that's one we'll potentially be reading. I'm probably going to pick up the first issue and just see what's going on. Um, all the Absolute DC stuff, like I said. So they're outside of that, a new Batman run starting in 2025. I think you're in on this one with me, correct?
Yeah, September 3rd, right? I think is when it comes out.
Yeah. And while we're talking about all these, dude, I'm gonna have to send you which ones. Like, you're gonna have to show some of these particular variants for these series we're about to get into. So yeah, a new Batman run starting in September of this year, written by Matt Fraction, and artist is Jorge Jimenez. I'm familiar with Jimenez. I know he's colored or done the art for some of the stuff I've read. I don't know about Matt Fraction. I know I've heard that name, but I don't know if I've read anything. So yeah, new Batman series, which that'll be interesting reading a Batman while reading Absolute Batman. Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice. So I have the trade paperbacks of Gotham by Gaslight and Gotham by Gaslight Kryptonian Age, and then A League for Justice starts it already started. I haven't got any of them in yet, but I am going to read that. It looks like an old timey take on these characters, like they're just in like Victorian England or something, or maybe that's a different one. Either way, it's like a
Yeah.
throwback. So that may be interesting. We'll see. I have Black Cat on here just because I bought the first one because I'm a young growing boy. But I don't know whether or not I'm going to read Black Cat or not. Captain America 2025. So new Captain America is starting. I'm definitely going to be reading that. I have the first two coming in. Did you buy one of these, or did you say you just talked to someone about them?
Yeah, the second one came out, I think, today. I did not buy it though.
Okay, yeah. So new Captain America run. Doctor Doom is like on these covers, so it looks like Doctor Doom is his main villain. Which I don't know everything about Doctor Doom, but I mean, at least like strongest version of Doom versus strongest version of Captain America like is a joke. Doom's like a god in some of the runs that he's been in, so I'll be really interested to see how they do that. I know they've faced off before, but we'll see. You talked about Death of the Silver Surfer. We'll both be reading that. Fantastic Four, new runs started this year. We'll be getting into that. Talked about Battle Beast, the Mortal Thor. Now I am curious about this one. If you're familiar with the Mortal Thor that starts this month, actually comes out later this month in August. Please tell me if this is or is not in direct relation to the Immortal Thor that just recently ended, because I'm wanting to know if I want to get into the Mortal Thor, which sounds cool. Do I need to read the Immortal Thor in order to really know what's going on? Because I saw a video the other day that seemed to suggest that the Immortal Thor who quote unquote died at the end of that run is this Thor, the Mortal Thor. And I just need to know if you think I don't need to be reading this without reading the other thing. Because if that's the case, I might not read either one of them, to be honest. I don't know if I'm going back that far for Thor. So we'll see about the Mortal Thor. New history of the DC universe. I read the first one, and I think the first one was what it had to be, but it was not very fun to read. I mean, it's like just a bunch of text. Like the art's cool and stuff, but dude, I do not care about DC lore prior to Superman arriving on Earth. Like, dude, these characters are like a joke. But we'll see how that continues. It's just a 4-issue run, should be cool. And I think that's all like the current runs. There's some trade paperbacks I want to get. I want to get caught up on the New Gods just because that sounds cool to me. Star Wars Jedi Knights. I am curious to see if Star Wars comics are cool, and it's mostly like prequel stuff. It looks like, which is my bag. I'm gonna get into Nightwing at some point, but I have a lot of catching up to do. And dude, I think I've exhausted all the current stuff that I did order a Superman trade paperback, Super Corp for the current run of Superman. That's the first 6 issues. We'll see, because I feel like this is the other thing I gotta ask, and then I'll let you take the stage for a moment. If you are a comic book person and you know what's going on, I understand that there's at some point supposed to be a crossover event with the Absolute Universe, which we are currently reading, and the current DC runs, which I believe is the 2023 Superman and Wonder Woman. I'm not sure which Batman, if I'm missing a Batman run or if it's the one that started in 2016. So if someone could answer those questions for me, one, which universe is going to be crossing over and which one I need to catch up with. If I need to catch up with it, would be good information if you think I should. And then also please clarify what Batman run. Is it the 2016 one? Because if that's the case, dude, there's no hope. There's no hope of me catching up to that Batman in time for this crossover. So I would like to know your thoughts on the crossover event if I need to be versed in the other universe. Because I mean, I feel like that has to be the case. Like if there's going to be a crossover event, we're not going to know half of the story, right?
I mean, I wouldn't, and I'm not going back. I'll tell you that right now. So I mean, it would have to be
Yeah, I mean, I might just
extremely
have to fill
accessible
you
for me to
in.
go back.
Yeah. I mean, we're
I feel
pretty
like they
late.
wouldn't
Like
do
I said,
that.
the Wonder
I
Woman
mean,
and Superman run started in 23, so it's a good bit out there of those. But I feel like I just word vomited for a minute. I read Batman Last Night on Earth yesterday. It was all right. I think I
it's
need to
really
stop
tough for
reading
me.
Elseworld stuff.
Yeah, like when I hear you talk about like I'm just so uninterested in that. Like on like reading all these different versions of the same character for some reason that like I think that's maybe what turns me off about it. And that's why I like this absolute thing because it feels like okay, this is all I
Yeah.
have to know. Because I in a weird way
Yeah.
I like going off on tangents and doing stuff, but when it's like okay, someone else just wrote a whole nother version of it, it's like Okay, like if they're all connected, like you are saying, I probably actually would go back if there's one universe that crosses over and it's going to be applicable.
Yeah.
I would, but
Yeah.
it's tough for me to care because I didn't grow up like wearing a Batman cape. So like I don't care. Like it's just tough for me to
Yeah.
care. Whereas like for like all the ones that I want to read are all like there's a Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover that starts on the 13th. Like dude, I'm in. Because those
I
the
know.
Power Rangers are also like my childhood. Like I dressed
Yeah.
up as different Power Rangers for Halloween. So that's
Which
like
one
if
were you?
someone's red, I was pink, dude. Of course.
Every time. I
Every
thought you
time.
would have been the Black Ranger.
No, I was black. Um, I do want to know if someone is into comics. I would like to read some of the Power Ranger stuff, but dude, that's one of the ones where brothers, so many different like versions, whatever. And I can't tell which ones are like corny, like more kiddie, and ones that are like more adult ish. But in
Right.
general, like I've already ordered the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover because it just looks sick. There's a Shredder that starts um, August 27th, and dude, I'll have the cover up for that one. I've already ordered the foil variant. It looks so sick, dude. So I'm in on that one, and then actually I can't remember if I told you this or not. I bought there's a new Mega Man coming out, and I just used to play the video game like growing up, and so
No, dude, I don't even know who Mega Man is.
bro, he looks like this is a bad example. This
He
is
looked
not.
like he.
He looked like I'll send it to you, but that one came out on the 30th, and I ordered it, and God knows when it'll come in. But that one just started, and then I have a couple different Thundercat things I'm going to keep up with. Chitara is like one of the main characters. She has like a whole run that she's going through, and so I'm gonna follow that guy or well girl. So, but yeah, we got a lot of ground to cover because I'm gonna cover all the
Dude,
absolutes with you. I'm gonna cover the normal Batman one where he's I'll show it on screen too. He looks kind of
dude,
OG
that one
in it.
variant. Yeah, dude, it's the like the gray suit with the blue cape. Looks so good,
Mm,
man.
it does look cool. So I'll do that for sure with you, I think. And then Silver Surfer, I don't know anything about him. That's been fun, and so that paired with Fantastic Four, I'm excited for. And then
Yeah.
same with Battle Beast. So we'll see if
Yeah.
Silverhawks is good. I'm gonna start that tonight. I sure hope it is, man. I have unfortunately invested way too much money into that series before ever reading a page.
Yeah,
So
that was a choice for sure. But I am curious because
that
they
was
look cool, man. I mean, if Silverhawks is good, I'm gonna get into that with you because they look super cool.
it
So as
does.
long as it's not
Well, we'll
Cornball
know
City,
tonight.
I mean, I'm down. Another thing I read that I just want to throw out there that was not good, dude. I see stuff about the Killing Joke all the time. That was so stupid. I don't know
What's
why
that?
that thing got a movie. It's a Joker Batman story, and it was just dumb
Not
diddly
good.
dumb. Like I must have missed the theme or the message or something, but it was dumb. I mean, the joke at the end was like funny, I guess. I don't know if that was supposed to be a big moment, that joke, but like every now and then, dude, I read a comic and I'm like, all right, like these aren't all sick. Like some of these are
Yeah.
bad. Like some of these are dumb. Even the big two. I would be curious too to know like what are some other Marvel things that are good. For some reason, dude, Marvel's just not near as enticing to me as DC. The characters in DC are much more compelling to me. Another thing I want to mention, I started, I know that we're novices, so like there's some things we're not going to know and we're not going to get. But I started reading The Amazing Spider-Man, and if you go on anything and look at this Amazing Spider-Man run, it started April 9th, 2025, with issue number 1, The Amazing Spider-Man, 2025, issue number 1. And I start reading it, and there's an asterisk in a chat bubble, and then I go down to where the asterisk is, and it refers to me to an event that occurred in a comic from like the 80s. So I would love for someone to explain to me why. Why are they even? I mean, issue 1 of this is basically issue 1400 or something because Amazing Spider-Man's been going on forever, and I didn't realize. I didn't realize that Peter Parker has been in high school for the last 45 years, but apparently he has. So if someone could kind of clarify what's going on, because I took this off my pull list, this series, when I bought the first 4 thinking this was a brand new series. I want to read something Spider-Man, and I was very disappointed when I realized that there's all this character development. Both of his girls are already dead. MJ and Gwen. They're already dead, and I'm just like, I mean, I missed all that. Like, why is this issue number one when it's not the first thing that happened? So if someone could help me understand like what is up with comics, because like we touched on briefly at one point, like this is supposedly a dying industry. That's one of your reasons why you got to make this more accessible to people. So for you to say this is the first issue of a new run and it's not the beginning of the story is trash. So that might be something that needs to be cleaned up. They probably released too many different runs at the same time too, but hey, what are you going to do? But yeah, so I mean, all that to say, I think we both wanted to get on here and just talk about comics and how, I guess, lost in the sauce we are right now.
Yeah, I think we're gonna start probably doing an update. I think it'll be easy to do a weekly update of like where we're at, what we've read, just to kind of basically copy everything Tom does and see if it works for us.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Let us know if you're into comics, like what you like. Again, if you've heard anything that makes you think of a run or a paperback or whatever that you think we'd enjoy, definitely let us know. And we'll keep you guys updated on how we're liking these comic books.
And
It's
we're
the
out.
comic books.